Hi all, it's Emily Rand with ESPN Esports, and today I'm happy to announce Collette Gangemi, who is the NYXL
Consumer products.
Head of Consumer Products. Okay, and we're here to talk about esports fashion, which is super exciting. When you first entered the scene, what did you see? Because you came from a lot of large athletic brands like Converse, Adidas. What did you see that was going on in esports, especially in Western merchandising, that was happening in traditional sports but wasn't happening in esports?
I think the biggest thing that we all identified was that it was a very underserved market.
Mm-hmm.
So, in traditional sports, there is a lot of gear that caters to basketball and football and baseball, and then there's also offshoot brands that also support the sports. In esports, there were little micro brands, but no one who was truly paying attention to the consumer, paying attention to that they want to be fashionable and that they wanted something new and original that represents them and their communities, because each game really has a subset of communities, and we thought that that was a huge opportunity.
So yeah, when you entered the esports fashion space, what were your goals with the NYXL?
I always said that it was to restyle the gamer. And
some of them need help,
Yeah,
I mean, myself included.
Yeah. Listen, what we wanted to do is we wanted to restyle the gamer and make them feel good about themselves. And by creating garments that were more progressive or even had attributes where their gameplay was even better, we felt that that was super important and that they would latch onto it and it would be really exciting for them. And it really has worked and commercialized. We have an unbelievable fanatical fan base who knows to run to get merchandise first at our events.
Yeah, so one of the, I think, biggest challenges in terms of merchandising and apparel around NYXL is that you guys had an all-Korean roster coming in from the get-go. You still have that roster, and the team has done an amazing job of integrating them into the merchandising and the fashion and really making them so accessible to the Western fans. So describe challenges with that and how you overcame it.
Other than really in the very beginning, a little bit of a language barrier, that was really the only challenge. The Korean culture by nature is extremely fashionable. Mm-hmm. And so we are so fortunate that our roster is super fashionable. They love sneakers. They love getting free clothes and better clothes and designer clothes. So for us, we gave them what they wanted. We also added Korean lettering to a lot of our garments. And listen, we're in New York. We represent, we're a global community here, mm-hmm. and so we're super fortunate. We have a huge Korean base in New York. So there were probably less challenges than other cities, probably.
Yeah, I know LA and New York, I think, have been kind of at the forefront of crossing over streetwear and fashion that a lot of their players would already, and London Spitfire as well initially, especially
Absolutely.
with Jester, who's sneaker king.
Sneakerhead, yes.
Did the players give you any feedback in terms of what they wanted to see from stuff? Because I assume that they were already pretty into, I know a few of them were already pretty into streetwear brands.
Yeah, the one feedback I did receive, which we did correct, was the font type in Korean lettering that I was using was almost like what we deem as Times Roman, which is a very basic.
Yeah.
And so they actually had a lot of input on what font I used moving forward. So even the garments that you see today in our store, they actually are a very specific font type that they wanted to use and a character. So it was really that was all their input.
Oh, nice. It's really good that you guys can have that kind of back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Across esports marketing, I think one of the failings a lot of other teams have is that because it's so, fans usually follow players specifically. Mm-hmm. They don't necessarily follow teams, but you guys have managed to market both through your apparel line. So how have you been so successful in that?
I mean, listen, we are very fortunate, right? We have a very dynamic, outgoing roster. We are like every day we pinch ourselves at how fortunate we are, and that helps us, right? But the we collaborated in the early part of our creation. With the best brands, the undefeateds, the champions, and Nike, and that really set the stage for us where people automatically knew we were an elevated team and brand, and they just wanted to actually represent us globally. I mean, we've done pop-up shops, we've done e-commerce pop-ups that our consumer base was global. I mean, we were selling garments to Iceland. Like,
Nice.
it was that actually, we were like, this is amazing. You know what I mean? Like, when we would see the orders, we were truly global.
Yeah, so I remember staying in Brooklyn for the finals at Barclays, and I walked outside, and there was a giant line, and I actually had no idea what it was for. I knew there was an NYXL pop-up shop, but I didn't know that that's what the line was for. It stretched out several blocks. So describe to me the original pop-up shop that you guys did in New York and what was behind its success, because I think that was like overwhelmingly successful.
So I was actually with the company only 2 months. In 2 months, we were like, we need to create something in New York to add buzz. We created all the merchandise in 2 months with these partners, which was very hard. And we just really wanted somewhere where they could go and really still like interact with the team. So we did a 7-hour signing. So all the hours we were open, the team was signing after people were buying garments. I know, trust me, it was rough on the players.
Good for them, though.
I know, they were awesome.
Props to them.
They were awesome. But, we had like 3 weather patterns that day. Like, there was one day it like rained, it was windy, and it was like 95 degrees. Like, everything that could have happened in that line happened, basically.
Oh, that's a true New York experience.
It's true New York. Yeah, exactly. The weather experience, right?
And then lastly, you guys obviously have an exclusive collection here
We do.
with Mitchell and Ness. So describe working with them, and how important was it that you had an exclusive apparel line for this homestand?
So for us in general, you will never see non-exclusive merch at our homestands. We take pride in giving fans something original every time they come to see us. So the garments that you actually see here now will not be here in May. We'll have a whole completely new line in May. Mitchell & Ness is a beautiful, like, premium heritage sports brand that is a licensed partner of the league. And we work together on the designs, just doing really smart, New York-centric streetwear designs that we felt fans would really like attach themselves to, and it's been really, really great.
Yeah,
all
the
weekend.
feedback I've seen has been like they love the New York Times crossword puzzle is my personal favorite. I've heard a lot of people say it's very Yankees in a good way. I'm from Boston, so I kind of have to swallow my pride there. But
we own the Mets. We own the Mets. Remember, we mean very Mets, very Mets.
Thank you so much for joining with me and chatting esports fashion. And for more Overwatch League coverage and esports fashion coverage, keep it here on ESPN Esports.